Students, the sports world is upon us. Football season starts today and NBA is around the corner. And so let's learn about how the actual analysts, the general managers, all the big figures, how they figure out the average points per game that a player scores or that a team scores. How does it deviate from that average? Meaning, on a normal day, you might be here, but what does that look like on a bad day or a good day? How is all that stuff calculated? And one of those ways is through mean absolute deviation. The word mean literally means average. Okay? So mean absolute deviation, mean is average. Absolute is the actual value of a number before we put a descriptor on it by saying positive this or negative that. For example, positive 5, the absolute value is 5 without saying the positive, it's just 5. And negative 5's absolute value is 5 before the word negative is thrown in front, it's just 5. The absolute value of a number is just the value of the number itself. And then the deviate from something is how far away it goes from the normal or from the average. So, Mr. Heiston, I deviate from the norm because I'm fat, black, bald, and out of shape. Okay? That's deviation. It's just how far do you go away from what is considered normal? So we're doing the average value from normal, mean absolute deviation. Now help me pick a player that's going to be perfect for my team. One way or another, we're going to find the right man for the job. So let's look at these draft profiles. Some guy named LeBron, 4-time champion, 30 points per game. Nah, that ain't it. King of the Pirates. Nah. Stick Himmy. In the last 5 games, he's performed with 20 points the first game, 18 points the second, 15 the third game, 30 points the fourth game, and 22 points the last game. I don't know, this guy has a pretty cool name. This might be it. But I have to figure out a few things. What is his mean absolute deviation? And for that matter, what's his average per game? Surely there's something we can use to figure that out. Here we had 20 points, 18 points, 15 points, 30 points, and 22 points. So let's just simply add that together. 20 plus 18 plus 15 plus 30 plus 22. When I add up these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, when I add them all up together, I'll get 105. But to find the average of anything, you add up all the values and then divide by the number of values or the number of numbers that you started with. Since we started with 5 different numbers, we're going to do 105 divided by 5. Now, when you do 105 divided by 5, if I'm not mistaken, you should get 21. This is step 1. Now, step 2 was find the difference from the original values. So I'm going to put up here from step 1, we found our average for Stick Himmy to be 21 points per game. But in step 2, we're going to need to find the difference his original scores were, and I'm going to write them out here. How far or the difference were each game from 21, or was each game from 21. So we had 20 points the first game, 18 points the second game, 15 points the third game, 30 points the fourth game, and 22 points the last game or fifth game. So I would have basically do 21 minus this 20, and I would get 1. That's the difference. That's how much it deviates from the average. Okay, so far for that first game. The second game, we're going to do the same thing. 21 minus 18, which is 3. I want to continue this pattern. 21 minus 15, which is 6. 21 minus 30 gives us -9 normally. But I want to remind you that we're doing mean absolute deviation. So when we're talking about absolute things, it is just the value of the number without throwing the negative or anything else in front of it. So it's just 9. And then we have our last game. Again, can't be negatives, just the absolute value, which is 1. So we found the difference. We have 1 point difference, a 3 point difference, a 6 point difference, a 9 point difference, and a 1 point difference from each of the original games. Now for the last step, we're going to have to find the average of these values right here, and then we're done. The first one we found 21 points per game. And our second step, we found that the difference each game was 1, 3, 6, 9, and 1. So for the final step, we need to find the average of these original values. So once again, I have 5 different numbers. When I add them all up together, you'll get 20. Because 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 6 is 10, 10 plus 9 is 19, and 19 plus 1 is 20. Once again, I do 20 divided by 5, then why 5? Because there are 5 numbers. And 20 divided by 5 is 4. So that's our mean absolute deviation. Our MAD is 4, which tells us that while he averages 21 points per game, right? He averages that. The good news for me looking at Stick Himmy is that even on an off night, if he scores above that, he's going to score up to 4 above it, or he's going to score up to 4 below it. That's how far he deviates from the average. Stick Himmy is the answer.